Welcome to Subramani. Please click on the bell icon. Please subscribe. Nice to see the numbers reaching 5,000. So today I'm going to talk to you about the risk axioms which I've written over a long period of time. A whole Word document of about 5-6 pages on risk. So today I thought I will call this Subra's risk axioms. And this would be episode number 1. I think it would run into 5-6 episodes. It's just talking about risk in various forms, including what Taleb has said and maybe what Buffett has said and things like that. Because we need to understand one thing: we chase returns, especially as retail investors and retail IFAs. There's a tendency to chase returns. The minute you understand that returns and risk are different sides of the same coin, you chase returns, risk comes. You manage risk, return comes, right? As long as you can manage that, and as soon as you understand that. So if you understand that at 22, you're better off, and if you understand it at 92, well, bad luck. Now, what happens is when you start chasing returns is you completely ignore risk. Now, risk and returns have got to follow each other. So if you choose risk and you manage it well, then returns follow and give you pleasure. If you chase returns, the day risk comes, you're completely unprepared for it. Whatever you do, whatever you prepare, the day risk hits you, it hits badly. But on the day, for a person who has managed the risk, it hits less badly. That's all. Nothing more different. So let us take the risk axioms. They are not numbered. I do not know what is the total number, so let me pick up the first one. I don't know how many of you have bought ULIPs or at least seen ULIPs. ULIPs are good products if you know how to deconstruct it and negotiate on the fare. And it is all possible today that you say, I don't want so much of upfront charges and this, and they can actually customize it, especially if you're paying a big premium. If you're not paying a big premium, it is different. Now, what scares us is if suppose they tell you that there is a 30% upfront charge, nowadays that has gone down, and there is a 0.8% AMC over the next 30 years versus an option where we will charge you only about 10% upfront, but there is a 2.5% AMC charge over the period of next 30 years. Unfortunately, the second looks cheaper, but actually the first is cheaper. So some of you might be surprised, shocked, whatever, to know that I have ULIP. In fact, I have 2 ULIPs or maybe 3 ULIPs. One is a very small one. And these ULIPs were bought in 2004 when you believed that the rates were high, correct? Wrong. It had upfront charges which could be negotiated, and it had AMC charges of only 0.8%. When I'm saying only 0.8%, remember that the direct mutual funds came only in 2010 or 2000 or even later than that. I'm not very sure. But in 2004 or 2003 or 2004, I could get a ULIP with 0.8% AMC. I had already covered all the risk by 2009 or 2010, because those days you could top up the ULIP up to 4 times the premium. So let us say you took 1 lakh rupee policy, 1 lakh rupee per annum premium, and 20 lakhs sum assured. That was tax free because it was 20 times. Then they made the rule and which said even 10 times also. Assuming that you needed a 20 lakh cover, you paid 1 lakh of premium, you could top it up by 4 lakhs, right? 4x the premium. That was the rule then. Then of course IRDA swung into action and said no, this can't happen. And so what happened was I topped it up over the next 3 years. So it became 1 lakh plus 4 lakh, 1 lakh plus 4 lakh, 1 lakh plus 4 lakh. And that time the market was booming. You remember 2004 to 2007. So by the time it was 2008, I had fully paid up to 20 lakhs, which meant risk charges had disappeared. So I had a mutual fund which I am still paying, mutual fund like product with 0.8% AMC charges. Not bad at all, correct? So you should not be intimidated by the high upfront charges. What you should be looking for is the AMC charges, right? So that is what you should be looking for. And so that was risk axiom number 1. Second one, which people do understand, but they don't understand it the way I want you to understand, is low risk investments will always lead to low risk returns. There is no doubt about that. So if you have a low risk like a PPF or a national savings certificate or a bank deposit or an endowment plan, they will give you only returns which are, say, sub inflation. So let us assume that inflation in India is now 4-5% and you're getting 7% in PPF, you're getting a very good return. The worry is when inflation goes to 8%, will this go to 11% or 10%? It's doubtful. Currently, believe me, in India, you're getting a real return even in PPF and bank deposits. So it's a time to be enjoying yourself. But when you want higher returns, you will have to take higher risk. Now, this should not lead you to think that by taking higher risk, you will get higher return. No. You have to take higher risk to get higher return, but if you take higher risk, you will always get high return is not true. So high risk, high return is wrong. It is high risk sometimes leads to high returns. The word sometimes is called risk in this statement, right? So yes, low risk items will give you low returns. High risk item may sometimes give you high returns, but those high returns could be sensationally good. But yes, that is the risk that you are taking. The third axiom is risk and reward are, especially in equity, largely time dependent, which means over long periods of time, the risk reduces and reduces dramatically. But there is a caveat here. It is true only for a well-managed portfolio or for the index. The reversion of mean does not happen in all equity shares. Some equity shares can fall from, say, I remember Silverline, 6 rupees, 30 rupees, 300 rupees, 1300 rupees. I think 1300 is the maximum that I remember. Maybe it went higher. It went into the index and then dramatically down to 6 rupees today, right? So reversion of mean will not happen in such shares. Pateja Forging, I think you tried selling it, you will get 1 rupee for it if you're lucky. I doubt whether it can even be dematted, right? That company has gone to dogs. So you need to understand that a portfolio will always do reversion to the mean, a well-managed portfolio. You're not sure about a well-managed portfolio, index will definitely have reversion to the mean. Index will go up, go down, etc., but it will come back. So the 100 index, which was in 79, is now 38,000, right? So 380 times. So that means did it go down? Of course it went down. Did we lose prime ministers? I think we lost 2 prime ministers in between 2 violent terrorist attacks. Right, so all these things happened in this country, but still there is reversion to the mean. When the markets go up and companies do well, when Reliance does well, the index will go up. When Infosys does well, Reliance does well, and HDFC Bank and HDFC Limited do well, the index is bound to go up. Right now it is going up just on the performance of Reliance, but that reversion to the mean will happen. So over a long period of time, that is equity over a long period of time in a good portfolio will do reversion to the mean and will give you good returns. But boom market is a great time to be removing some money from equity and putting into debt instruments, especially the money you need over the next 3, 5, 10 years depending on the size of your portfolio. So this is how we have to use this axiom. Then the great Buffett's quote that when you buy a share, what you are doing is buying a piece of business. If you are buying a piece of business, obviously it cannot be a few days, your view should be a few years. So most of your equity investment should be dated forever. So if you have a 10-year-old son and you're investing in his name, or you're teaching him to invest, you got to tell him that you will touch this money only when you are 70. So your time frame here is 60 years, and you can also create a heirloom for the family by creating one particular index fund and telling your children that you will not exhaust this ever. You will keep contributing whenever you think you should be contributing. You put money into it, and when you need, you take it. And on your death, they should go to your children, right? So that is how family heirlooms are created. So over long periods of time, equity will revert to the mean, and since you're buying a business, you must have a long-term view when you're investing. Thank you.